politics, and pop culture.
What's up, world? Welcome back to another conversation. I am super excited. As you know me all too well, you know when I'm excited to have a guest because I smile super big. My cheeks go all the way up to the corners of my eyes, and my smile gets brighter, and I go up in a falsetto. So you're going to hear a lot of high falsettos today in my voice because I'm excited to be in conversation with my next guest. I don't often do fashion conversations that often, but you guys all know fashion is a huge part of my intersection. And I'm always waiting for the right moment to have that fashion conversation because after you have dinner at Anna Wintour's house and say he looks amazing, I mean, where do I go from there, right? So if it's either Anna Wintour or bust for me, if you ask me personally. But there's something about this next individual that made me stop and say, I need him for this show. And it's because I saw this cover recently of the Hollywood Reporter with Mr. Andrew Weitz on the cover with the legendary, the iconic, the GOAT or the GOAT of all GOATs, Tom Brady. And I was like, what is happening? I said, I need to know more about this individual. I've known him from afar. I had the chance to get to know him a little bit personally in the last couple of months, I would say. But I haven't had the chance to have that real professional dialogue and conversation. So let me just bring him in and then I'm going to set the tone and the table for what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring in the CEO and founder of the Weitz Effect, fashion consultant, strategist extraordinaire, Mr. Andrew. What's happening, Andrew?
What's up, Mike? Thank you so much for having me. That was a great introduction. And correct, I should just walk off because Anna Wintour, I don't blame you. I'll see you later.
I mean, where do we go?
Well, you come here. You have fashion icon Anna Wintour, then you have fashion icon Andrew Weitz and Tom Brady.
I mean, that's it. I mean, we don't even know where to go elsewhere after that. But Andrew, I wanted to bring you in because, well, ladies and gentlemen, he's always the coolest kid in the room. And what I love about Andrew is that his style is so effortless, right? It's that style that's super annoying, right? It's that style where I remember I think when I met him, he probably had like on a white t-shirt and like some jeans and a sneaker, but it was just how it was all pulled together. I was like, man, it sucks to be everyone else.
That wasn't
it, Andrew. What was it?
When you first met me, I was in a hoodie jogger suit with white sneakers. And I walked off the plane and you were there and you were like, damn, that is hot. And
literally,
that's how we just started talking.
Off of a jogger suit, right?
Yeah.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, literally that's how I got personally introduced to him. I had seen him digitally and on social media and on Instagram. And then after a week or two later, he ends up being on a Hollywood Reporter. But Andrew, I want to bring you in because we're going through an interesting time right now in our society. I mean, there's a couple of things at play that I think you are just perfect for this conversation. The first thing is we're in this age of entrepreneurship. You know, everyone is wanting to be an entrepreneur. In particular, while we're in COVID, a lot of people have decided to start their own businesses in a number of different types of ways. People are rethinking their businesses. People have unfortunately possibly maybe lost businesses, but entrepreneurship has been the key focal point of our conversation. As we are leading out of COVID, and I put that in parentheses, everyone, because I believe COVID is going to be here in different forms for a minute. We have to kind of get just used to that dynamic at play until we get to herd immunity. But the world is opening up and the world's going to open up and we're going to have to start learning how to dress again, right? And not only how to dress again to go to brunch or dinner or happy hours, but like literally dressing for our jobs and the presentation of us. And so the third thing, Andrew, I thought you were right for this conversation is that you were a powerhouse in the agency world working for William Morris Endeavor. You were one of the top agents that were there. And then all of a sudden you pivoted and started your own company, your own entrepreneur, your own small business in the endeavor of fashion. And talk about the art of the pivot. If you remember, audience, I was just talking about that last week, the art of the pivot, and no one has done it better than Andrew Weitz. And Andrew, I think I want to start there with the art of the pivot. As many people are thinking about doing this pivot and looking at new careers or maybe get into entrepreneurship, how did you just say one day you walk into the halls of William Morris, is one of the best agencies in the world, like, you know what, I'm actually good. I believe it's all behind it, just start something that is unknown.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, I grew up watching a lot of, I guess, television, and award shows. And you know, when someone wins an award and they come up and they thank God and they talk about if you have a passion or you you dream big, you can make it happen. And I always used to sit there and be like, can you? Is that possible? I want to believe that. I don't know. And you know, I'm very close to my brother who works in the entertainment industry, and he's 4.5 years older than me. And I came out here and I just want to be close to him. And I kind of got into that industry and I was interested in it. But I never knew what I really wanted to do in life. And I'll never forget when I was 22, I came out here and I saw a career coach, and I went and she did these tests and these cards and all this stuff. And what she came out with at the end was, so you want to be a teacher? And I was like, huh? And I love teaching. So I left and I was in my car, and I'll never forget this. And I'm literally sitting there thinking to myself, a teacher. I moved to California. I love entertainment. I want to be close to my bro. I don't know if I'm really in the mode to be a teacher and go to school and learn, you know, get the documentation, all that stuff. So I convinced myself and I said, you know what? I'm going to teach clients, actors, how to be great and make them great and make them stars. And then I can be a star behind the scenes. And so that's what I did. And I went into the entertainment business as a talent manager, and then as an agent, a talent agent. And I found fantastic actors, multi-hyphenates. I represented Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant and James Corden, Claire Foy, Rami Malek. I was on the teams of LL
Just the basics.
Rob Lowe. I mean, a bunch of people. And what's great is I had a niche for the Brits. So I brought a lot of Brits here. Everyone I just mentioned, I brought over here. And now look what's happened to them. But I got to a point where I knew deep down this was not what I was meant to do, but I'm good at it. And I was known in Hollywood as the best dressed agent. I cared about the way I looked. I cared about my style. I was with the trends, but in the right way, not the wrong way. I presented myself in a way where I knew perception was everything, especially in our business, in the entertainment business. And I wanted to separate myself from the crowd than wearing just the uniform. Back then, the navy black and gray suits, ties, shirt, and shoes. And what really started to change was I started getting into the skinny suits. And then I started doing double-breasted suits. And then, oh my God, casual Friday, I didn't wear the suit with no tie. I did the sneakers, and I did the cool jean, and I did the top and the blazer and all these kind of things. And people were like, what's going on? And then I became known as a pocket square guy. And I was always wearing pocket squares. And so after a while, going to lunches and meetings, everyone either knew my brother or myself, and it would be like, your brother's an incredible agent. And I'm like waiting for that validation, but I get, you're an impeccable dresser. I mean, you are just really on point. It's unbelievable. I'm kind of envious. And so I played around in my 30s with, what does it look like if I put my expertise in the styling fashion world to other colleagues and clients and friends, and just see what the outcomes and results were. And I started to notice when I started doing it with clients, they were gaining more auditions, getting more meetings, booking more roles. Their confidence went through the roof. And it was amazing when producers would call me like, is this the same actor you sent in earlier? Those were my favorite. And then I started to help. I was looking around the table in the conference room in our meetings, and I'd be like, oh my God, if he dressed better, if he could tailor this right, if he just only knew, he could be so good. Look who he represents. Look how great he is. I could take him to a whole nother level. I just know it. So I had the courage to finally go up to some of these people, and they trusted me. They believed in me. And there's a couple of things that have happened that during the agency years that solidified that. And after 4 years, I said to myself, Mike, I didn't say Mike, I just said myself. I said self. But I said, Mike, I'm turning 40 years old. What am I doing? I'm married. I don't have kids. This is it for me. It's either stay in the system and kill yourself and maybe cap out, or go be an entrepreneur, something you never thought you could ever be. And everything came back to me from that meeting with that coaching, that career coach. And everything came back with me watching the Grammys and the Oscars and everything else, thanking God and putting your passions. And my mom telling me you can do anything you put your mind to, right? And I just took the leap. I was playing with it. I was prepared for it. I didn't just leave. I don't recommend anybody just leaving and good luck to you. Like, you gotta understand what you're doing. But the most important thing I learned is you got to have passion. If you're passionate, people will see it, they'll respect it, and then you can build it. And that's what I ended up doing. And at 40 years old, I left, and my career really took off in a different way and also in a better way. My relationships expanded to a whole nother world. My income expanded, my confidence expanded, everything grew, and I knew I was in the right space, let alone I was positioning myself with the right people. And here we are.
Well, let's pause right there, Andrew, because my audience knows I never write
long
questions
story,
down.
sorry.
And no, it wasn't a long story at all. It was an important story. And my audience knows I never write questions down. I kind of let the conversation guide me. And where you're about to take me is in a way I never thought we'll be having a conversation. I touched on entrepreneurship, but I didn't realize that everything that your journey has created is the entrepreneurship aspect of taking a chance on self, right? Knowing when to pivot. Every entrepreneur, including myself, has had that story where I'm in this job or this career because I felt like I needed to be. There's family pressure, there's public pressure, there's social pressure. I think I'm supposed to be this agent because my brother is this agent, but I'm not getting the validation. I'm getting the validation in other areas. I feel like I should still be here because it is this glossy space. And audience, you know I'm talking to you right now. Like, no matter what you do for a job, and no matter what your career is, no matter what your glossy corporation is to you, I know a lot of you are out there like I was, unhappy. I was unhappy in engineering. I was in industrial engineering and nuclear chemical research. I was miserable, but I stayed in it because of the family pressure. I stayed in it because society said, Mike, you're smart, so this is what you should be doing, but was completely unhappy. So with that, Andrew, as we're going to help guide our audience as they're thinking through all these challenges too as well, how did you push through that fear? Like, how did you push that fear that morning you woke up, you walk into William Morris at 9 a.m., a cup of coffee, maybe iced coffee with you, maybe some oat milk or something. You're a fancy kind of guy. And then you say, you sit at your desk, I'm creating a fantasy here, but it's going to work with me here. And you say, I'm out. Like, what was it? Like, how did you push that fear to send that 2-week notice? And it was like, I'm gone.
Well, it was more than a 2-week notice. I don't drink coffee, but I'll tell you, after 3 years, I mean, what you just said is all correct. Family pressure. How about steady income, steady salary, insurance? What pushed me ultimately was two things: the passion and idea that I need to make a change now or never, and taking the leap. And really, I was turning 40, and I looked around, I saw the people around me. I see who succeeded, who stayed stagnant, who didn't, and I didn't know which way I was going to go. And I just not one day, I was building up to it, and I'll never forget, I had dinner with my brother, and I said, hey man, I'm leaving the agency. I'm gonna put my notice in. I'm gonna leave next month, and I'm gonna build this business. And he looked at me and he goes, no, you're not. And right there, everything inside of me was like, I wanted to punch him in the face. Yeah. And I said, why? And he gave me 5 reasons. I don't need to get into it with you guys. Yeah. And I sat there and I said, I'll think about it. And a year goes by so quickly. And I thought about it and I was like, okay, he's right. I'm going to go through the motions of A, B, C, D. And then next year at this time, I'm going to walk in and I'm going to say that's what I'm doing. But what happened was Mr. Porter did a series called The Way I Dress. And they called me and said, we've never done anyone in entertainment, an agent, blah, blah, blah. We think your style is unbelievable. We'd love to do this with you. And I'm like, in my head, this is my exit move. This is how I'm going to show the world. Bye-bye. And I said, I'm happy to do it. You can't do it until September or October 2013. And they said, okay. So we shot it in April, and they were going to hold it. But lo and behold, they let it out in May. And it was like, quote, I'm out of the closet. I came into the office and I knew what was going to happen. I'd have half the people going, that is awesome. And I'd have the other half just either making fun, criticizing, ultimately being jealous. And once that came out, after a couple of days of settlement, I went into the CEOs and I said, guys, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I need to do. And I need to stay here for several more months. I need to ride this out. I need to tell my clients what's going on, and will you support me? And they said yes. And not only would they support me, they ultimately became my first clients. And I ended up leaving and opening the agency pretty much almost a year later, March 2014. So here we are 7 years later. And that's really how it happened. It was just that one day. And I used to start to take videos. I have them all because I was like, oh, maybe I'll make a documentary one day.
Yeah.
I used to video video myself in my car of like, all right, I'm going to work or school. I'm going to work. I'm going to a meeting. I don't really want to go anymore. I'm building this business. I can't wait to like let it out and this. And I just started to follow myself a little bit. And now that I forgot actually all about it, now I actually want to go back and rewatch them.
You should.
But that's what I did. So there you go.
But see, here you are. I know for a fact you are ministering to people right now, because how your brother approached you at dinner and said, no, you're not, is almost like defeating, right? It then makes you question your smarts, your intuition, your gut. I immediately became the black sheep of my family when I first left engineering to go start my own record label. I became the black sheep. I became the sinner. I was playing for the other team, doing this, non-religious music. All these things, came to be in the past, and it was so hurtful and hurting. And to your point, the embarrassing and being ridiculed, because now, really gonna go hang out with like musicians and singers now, right? You're supposed to be working for this Fortune 500 company one day running one, right? And so none of my peer group looked at that as anything that was cool. My peer group looked at like the sciences and STEM as cool, right? And so I know that feeling, right? And so audience, I want you to take out, what Andrew was talking about of all the A-listers and celeb, and let's take out the glossiness of the agency and really look at the product of him being on the cover of a magazine in such a short amount of time, where he went through all these trepidations that we've all experienced as we made that pivot. He's gone through all those challenges of fear, just like us, right? They say start just like us.
Listen,
he's gone through all of that and he still arrived. But now I want to talk about, Andrew, more specifically, the technique, right? Because I did research on you. I didn't take for granted, because we have a friendliness and a friendship. I didn't take for granted the fact that, I see you on Instagram, and I know we have mutual friends in common. Mm-hmm. I really want to do my research on you. And one thing that struck out to me was I was watching on your site, theweitzeffect.com, and you was doing this video series. And one of the gentlemen, I can't draw his name, but he was a British actor. It was a tuxedo video. And you were styling him for the Oscars, and it was his burgundy red tuxedo suit. But what stood out to me the most is when you said, I like working with gray and putting a gray vest on you because gray is neutral. So then you began to talk about the color and the palette and the juxtaposition and the contrast. I was like, this dude really knows like coloring and styling and product and merchandising and fabrics, but you didn't go to school for that. Most stylists I know go to like Fashion Institute of Technology, Parsons, all these other schools, and then they become a stylist. You did it. So how did you develop that know-with-all? And then to me, I think that's the reason why you're on the cover.
That's a great question. And here's the thing. You're right. I didn't go to Fashion Institute. I didn't go to school. I didn't do any of that. One, it's intuition and innate quality I have. But put that aside, it's not about the fabrics and the colors. Of course it is. I'm not a stylist, red carpet, editorial type stylist. That's why I don't do much of that. I'm the contributing style men's editor for the Hollywood Reporter. We do the big issues like the Oscars, and that was Richard E. Grant. And what I do with all clients, whether it's Tom Brady, whether it's a CEO of a major tech company or a studio, whatever it is, I look at them and go, who are you? And this is your first Oscars. This is whatever platform. You want to make sure you look back and go, wow, I look fantastic. I felt great. That was a great moment. I don't want you to look back and go, what the hell did that person put me in? What was I wearing? So I'm very strategic when I'm working with these men. I'm one of these guys. I was that guy. So I'm putting myself in that position and I'm just enhancing that person. And with that particular example, Richard E. Grant is British. He's a well-known British actor, and it was a huge moment for him to be nominated for Best Supporting Actor. I wasn't putting the vest on, and I'm like, dude, you're British. Let's go with it. And that tuxedo actually was supposed to be with gray trousers. And I was like, this makes you look like a butler. They're coming off, we're putting black trousers on, we're going to keep everything up here. How do you feel? And we tried a couple of different options, and he was like, this is awesome. I love it. Thank you so much. And you could see it radiate. So it's all about knowing who the person is, who their audience is, and what their situation is, because everybody has to perform in different situations.
And audience, that goes to understand your customer base. You know, whether or not you're working with an Oscar nominee or whether you're trying to supply the local grocery store, that all goes into understanding your customer base and understanding your audience. And I think Andrew nails that because the actor Zach Woods, I loved how he said, quote, the reason I like you, he's not a style guy. He said, because you offer enhancement without abandonment of who I really am, right? And I think that goes to how you understand the nuance, right? Like in the details of things. Andrew, I can talk to you all day. Time is running out. So I want to just push through the final question of, why should people care, you know, about style and about presentation as we're coming out of COVID? We may be going back into the office, maybe not, as people are looking for new jobs and opportunities. Why should we think about, or how should we think about style and presentation?
Well, listen, I've been preaching this for 10 years, and I think it took the pandemic to really reach people, because now you're in a place where you're resetting, and you're either going back to a job and you haven't seen people in a year and a half, so that's like a new job, or you have a new job or a new career, or you just figured out a new life path, right? So it's really important. You have a millisecond to make an impression. When you walk into a room, people don't know who you are. They just know what they see. And right away, they already have something in their mind about you. And if you show up, let's just say sloppy, not well ill-fitted, not put together, that's how people are going to associate you do everything, like your business, right? I had somebody that hired me. I came to his office. He was sloppy. His office was disheveled. And all I looked at him and thought, wow, this guy is a CEO and makes hundreds of millions of dollars. I think he does his business so sloppily. Like literally, that's what I thought in my head. Perception is everything. You really have to up your game. I'm not saying go spend thousands and thousands of dollars on clothing. I'm saying invest in yourself, invest in your wardrobe, pick the key pieces, and put on what makes you feel great. Because when you look great, you feel great. And when you feel great, you do great. It boosts your confidence. People will notice. It's all about fit and tailoring. Yes, there are trends, and always play with some trends here and there, but you got to know who you are, who your audience is. And I guarantee you, it will take you up a notch, because it doesn't matter if you are the CEO, a chairman of a woman, whatever, of a company. What I do to enhance you is going to elevate you even more. And just as shady promo, check out this guy, right? Here you go. You got me and Tom Brady. Tom Brady is the greatest athlete in the world. One of, let's just call, but the GOAT when it comes to football. Here's a perfect example of this guy who doesn't want to look back at photos and galas and things and look at himself and go, what was I wearing? So we are paying attention to his situation and what is great for him. But he also goes to another level when he's feeling great and looking great, because it all comes together. It's a package. It's a brand. It's your personal brand. You want to invest. It's not an expense. An expense goes in one end, out the other. Investment will always pay you back in some form or another. And that's what this is about.
Well, with that investment being said, audience, as you're looking to invest in yourself, coming out of this global pandemic that we're in, looking to start your own business, I hope you're able to pull away some nuggets from Andrew Weitz, just as I have. And it was such a reminder of my own story. Sometimes you get too caught up in looking at the headlines and the cover stories of a Tom Brady or on television when we arrive, that oftentimes people forget about what it took, the courage, the tenacity, the embarrassment, pushing through the jokes that are being hailed at you for not doing what people believe that you should be doing. But Andrew Weitz, the Weitz effect, is proof positive of that. When you hold the line and you hold steady and you live in your truth, success can get you to be with the GOAT. I don't believe that he was with Brady. And my audience,
Mike, how about you?
I love sports. Yeah.
How about you, brother? You know how to dress. Sitting there with Barack Obama in your tuxedo plaid jacket and tie. Like, I'm like, not many people have the courage to even do that. So know who you are, do it in the right way, and be you. You will be complimented for the right reasons. Don't do things.
And Andrew, I want to just let the audience know that they can come to you. They don't have to be a Tom Brady. They don't have to be a Richard Grant to come to you. You work with everybody. So audience,
celebrity is the small little piece. We are the normal folk. We are us. We are me and you.
I was just about to go there. So if you need some style,
that's the joy.
He travels. We're virtual. He does everything for you virtually too as well. Go to the Weitz Effect. That is Weitz is spelled, and you see at the bottom of the Chiron, but it's Weitz. For those of you who are listening to us in your cars, your office, on your phones.
Instagram.
Go to the Weitz Effect. Andrew Weitz, I can't thank you enough. I'm so proud of you, but not even about the cover. I mean, obviously we're proud of you for the cover, but I'm proud of you for being able to have the courage to walk into William Morris that day after the article came out and to stay steadfast in your truth, to say, it's all good, joke with me all you want, but one day you'll regret it. I'm sure they are. Audience, it's been an amazing time with you on this show. Feel free to hit me up at I am Mike Muse. I have to go to the Weitz Effect. Until next time, folks. Peace.
Thanks, Mike.